Hello and welcome to MK Rants, a podcast where I, your host MK, take you on a magical journey through anime, manga, comics, and cartoons. Today's topic is going to be the new Green Lantern movie, Green Lantern, Beware My Power. I'm gonna preface this video by saying, I'm recording and I think people are doing road work outside. I record my audio via window, so if you ever hear stuff like jiggling or something, or you hear like something drive by, it's probably that heavy machinery that they use to do road work. Also, I'm not super deep into comic book lore. Comic books can be a very expensive hobby if you don't know what you're doing, which I do not, so I don't really touch on that. I will link a Casually Comics video in the description that does talk about this movie and its comic book references. Personally, I thought the video wasn't my favorite because I actually really enjoyed this film, and this video the video that Casual Comics made, they really went into depth on how the movie was not the best. But I really liked it, so we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna start off with, I guess, the two main negatives I had with this film. Also, Jon Stewart is like my favorite Green Lantern of like all time. I blame the DCAU cartoons for that, specifically from like the 90s and early 2000s. They were so good. But Jon Stewart is my favorite Green Lantern, so I didn't really have a lot of expectations for this film, but I'm really glad that this film kind of did what it was supposed to. I thought this film did what it kind of like was gonna do. So first off, I didn't really like how Jordan was painted as like the best Green Lantern in the whole universe, because in my head I'm like, it felt clunky, because I feel like it would have been better if Sinestro was painted as like the best Green Lantern, and then they're like, oh, he turned evil. Because I think that would have worked better and also would have painted a bigger picture. It felt clunky. Second of all, I don't like how the whole, like, Green Lantern Corps was, like, destroyed by Hal Jordan in, like, the span of, like, a day. Because, I don't know, it felt very, like, you could have at least left some people alive, like, they were hiding out. At least the Guardians, because, like, they're important, and, like, kind of the whole thing that sustains, like, the Green Lantern Corps, because, like, I don't know, like, you're setting yourself up for failure there, buddies, or writers, from what I understand, though, a lot of this movie was cut for, like, reasons, I think because they had to keep a more child-friendly runtime, or at least that's how Casually Comics explained it. And I can see kind of where that perspective is coming from. But at the same time, I personally didn't feel like this movie had bad pacing. I didn't really feel like the movie was all that, like, really quickly paced. It felt, like, complete to me. It felt good, and it felt like it did what it was supposed to do. I don't know how else to explain it. I really liked how they made Hal Jordan in this movie, like, the villain, personally, because I think Sinestro, is kind of, like, the one-all, be-all, like, Green Lantern villain. I don't really like how he's, like, the main villain in, like, a lot of Green Lantern stuff. So I thought that Hal Jordan being the villain was something very different. And I think they did it in the comic books, but again, I'm not a comic book person, so I cannot say anything on how that worked out or how that arc went, but as a whole, I think that Hal Jordan that was very good in this movie. I also really liked the art and the animation. At first, the art style was not my favorite, but as I watched the movie, it grew on me. It grew. It's one of those where you look at it, you don't really like it, but then, like, you get used to it. I also really liked how Hawkgirl was used in this movie, or how Hawkgirl was in this movie, period. I am a huge fan of Hawkgirl. Again, I blame Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. And I think that she deserves more. I think that she deserves more credit, and like as a character, because she's just really good, and I liked. And personally, I didn't. Personally, I thought that her character design looked actually really good. I don't really like her suit in Justice League. It's just. I thought it was kind of ugly, and I think it is kind of. But I really liked her design in this movie, and I think the voice actors really did do a great job at like voicing these characters, and it's something that I think deserves a lot of praise. I don't know if they had to work under like the COVID conditions when recording voices, and if they did and had to record stuff at home, that is impressive that you were able to get such like good and clear sound. It was so good. And also, I love the backgrounds and like the landscapes. This movie does really well with that stuff. And as a whole, I think that it looked really pretty, and I think a lot of them would work well as like computer backgrounds and stuff like that. They used Metagenes, I think, or Adam Strange was here. And at first I was like, who's Adam Strange? But then they were like, he's the hero, he's like the Ranian Earth hero from Earth. He's married to like a princess or the daughter of an inventor. And then I was like, oh yeah, I remember him. He showed up in like those in Young Justice to build Zeta beams, and I liked how they kept Zeta beams, I guess, in this film. I think that I only was exposed to it through Young Justice, so I don't know how deep that rabbit hole goes, but I thought that was a nice touch. And then I was talking about the Metagene. But the Metagene to me is very much tied to Young Justice. It's very much tied to the idea that that is kind of what caused you to become a superhero. It's something that not all people have, and if you have it, it can be activated. To me, that is what the Metagene is. It is your superhero gene. So I don't really know if Adam Strange was either... I want to call him Adam. I don't know if Adam was really... If, like, genetically, he's just, like... I don't know how to describe it. But I thought that was... It was okay. I liked how he was the one who had to like kind of sacrifice himself in order to save Ron, or like Thanagar or whatever. I don't know. Also, I don't know how they're gonna get Thanagar back into like its normal orbit. Like a whole planet was Zeta beamed from like one galaxy to another. That's gonna mess with a lot of stuff, and they bring that up in the movie. This movie also feels like it would be really good as like a franchise. I think this series could also work as like a cartoon series instead of like a movie. I think that it's really good. It was really good in kind of like what it was doing. I thought that the climax was also, I thought, pretty good. I liked, the one thing I wish would have been implemented more, I guess we're doing another complaining segment. The one thing I wish that would have been shown up more is, I guess, John's PTSD from having to fight in a war. That I think kind of got like left until like right after he did like this thing, like right after he like fought with Hot Girl. I don't think it like really was brought up again to like how Jordan was like trying to kill him, and then like the knife, like the Green Lantern knife, like chopped through his hand. I think that it would have done more for his character if that was if that was a factor that was like kind of like coming, like that was kind of like reoccurring. Also, I like how they wrote off like most of the league to help him. So like the only person who could physically go with him was like Green Lantern, because like Vixen and Martian Manhunter were stuck on Watchtower duty or something. I don't really remember why they were there, but I thought it was nice and I thought it was fun. But also, like, if Wonder Woman and Batman or Wonder Woman and Superman, if they're like out in space, you think they would have heard like a rumor being like, so the Green Lantern Corps was kind of like totally murdered. What now? I feel like they have the technology and the space knowledge to be able to physically do that. Also, because, like, from what I can tell, news travels a lot faster in space than it does on Earth. Like, thinking about it realistically. And I thought that, and I felt like that was also one thing that wasn't, like, too bad. Too bad, but it was also something that, like, I feel like it also, I I think that would have been funny if they would, like, at the time, like, John were to go in, like, Wonder Woman and Superman were like, okay, so, we've heard rumors about the Green Lantern Corps getting, like, totally murdered. So what now? I think, as a whole, I feel like there were certain parts of this movie that I liked, certain parts that I disliked, but it wasn't too bad. It was a good movie as a whole, and I think Green Lantern as a whole, like, franchise or superhero or, like, doesn't really do the best in movie form, but I was really excited that my favorite Green Lantern was able to get a movie, and while I understand that a lot of people were disappointed by it, I think that it definitely deserves more attention. I hope that you all are, like, willing to go check it out. I thought it was pretty good. I know I nitpicked it a bit here, but as a whole, I think that it wasn't too bad. I think that I liked how they didn't force a romantic subplot between Hawkgirl and, like, Jon Stewart, because to me I think that would have, like, weakened the whole film if they had forced a subplot on them, because, like, that to me seems, like, kind of unfair, and I think it reduces Hawkgirl from, like, being Hawkgirl and, like, being her own, I think, separate superhero to being the love interest that was, like, tacked on. And I have a lot of fondness for, like, Jon Stewart and Hawkgirl, but I'm honestly kind of glad they didn't just force it in here, like, for no reason in particular. That was something I really liked, and I think that it was a good creative choice. I don't know what else to say here. I hope that you all have a lovely day. This video is kind of spontaneous, and I don't really have anything, like, jotted down, at least, that I wanted to cover. I've kind of been just going off my base reactions. I probably should have recorded this before the Yashahime video, but I didn't, because I was lazy and rather preferred to struggle and then, like, cringe on the inside with the Yashahime video. I hope my next video is the Kami-sama Kiss video, because I watched that anime recently. It is so cute, and I gotta go on the hunt for its manga. I will link the Casual Comments video down below, like I said, and then I also link my Instagram down below if you would like to follow me there as well. It would mean the world to me if you did. And then I also have a webcomic called Sodalite. It will get its first update. It will get its first official, like, art update. I was doing prologue chapters before, so this is, like, its first official update. Will be probably today, because I will be uploading this on Saturday, the 6th of August. I'm currently recording this on the 5th, which is a Friday. It's also, like, 9:20 in the freaking morning, and I've been doing, and this is, like, my third take of this audio. But anyway, I just hope you guys have an amazing day. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy and consider liking and subscribing. Bye-bye.